Okay, so just going to be a little bit of Rogue Trader here today, just probably like a half hour or so. We finished the governor stuff, which means I think we're finally free to go back to our ship, get Adira her leg back, and, you know, potentially check out some other things, try to get our sixth companion here. So I think that's the goal. We finished kind of talking to the governor, talking to Tech Priest. We have a bunch of new kind of quest stuff that we should probably check out now. Let's see. Become a god. That's probably not what I want to do. Yeah, we need a new navigator. We're still kind of working to fix that, but okay. Yeah, so we already did that, and so we need to go to the actual monastery. The Electrodynamic Cenobium, which I believe is also the quest here. Yeah, so. Alright, we already checked all this, right? We'll just double check real quick. We'll talk to the Tech Priest again. You know anything about Tech Priest Abel? No previous communications. Memory sector contains other data related to the query. Various resource and data storage devices of interest have been extracted by standing army of Riker minorists for preservation purposes. The command center currently hosts a cogitator that was used by Unit A. Okay, yeah, telling me to check out the computer. We've already checked out the computer. Alright.
None shall stand in my way.
Yeah, return to Void Ship. Alright, we're free. Boxmaster. Persian report, Lord Captain. Over the past few days, I've received several messages from different desks complaining about anomalous behaviors in the ship's cogitators and servitors. The machine spirits are restless and rebellious, and no tech litany or ritual pacification can rid them of obstinacy. Tech priests can deal with the vessel systems, but the servitors are making errors in tasks, disobey orders, and change the assigned rituals, or sometimes downright freeze as if in a trance. Lord Captain, occurrences of such disease are caused by errors in cogitator calculations or some other sensible explanation. I beseech you not to take after those who whisper about the ship being cursed or possessed. Oh, don't start, old man. All of these particular happenings have long since turned into local legends. The door slams shut, a lumen starts flickering, folks here are grown used to all that, so a resident ghost has decided to up the ante. I'm telling you, they're only going to get worse in here. The technomats inspected the servitors and concluded they pose no danger. According to the servants of the Omnisci, such behavior is caused either by echoes of minds not completely eliminated, or by manifestations of the machine spirit's wills. Nevertheless, the faulty servitors make the crew's task more difficult, considerably more difficult, and High Factorum Janus Dunrock would like to discuss how it should deal with the defective property. He's awaiting your audience on the bridge. Cool. Okay, that's also good to know. Yeah, cool. How do we go to the bridge? Back to the bridge, cool. Yeah, so that's going to be our navigator, which we should head to. First, though, yeah, we have no new any of this stuff. Which we probably will get when we get to the ship, the docking bay or whatever it is. Alright, let's go to Urek. Before we go to Urek. Sorry to disturb you. Pandemonium outside the bridge gate. One of our officers seems to be demanding audience of you in person. I hear Master Wordenstein's voice. In any case, I must warn you in advance. Okay, well, we're going to the bridge anyways. Amazing chair. This is not the conduct of an officer. These are antics of highborn brat Abelard. Explain yourself, Lieutenant. I apologize, sir, but I must speak to the Lord Captain. Very well, you may adjust Lord Captain, not least because I have seen you already fit to disturb him. Your unauthorized appearance on the bridge and display of belligerence toward a higher-ranking officer will be logged in your personal file. Permission to speak on a matter of extreme importance and urgency. You may speak, but I want to hear a report, not a shouting match. Having two officers bickering in full view of the bridge is unacceptable. I'm sorry, Lord Captain. I thought the drastic times called for drastic measures. Matter cannot wait. Any minute now, an assault unit will be dispatched to the lower decks in order to crush the workers' strike by any means necessary. But I am convinced that this step is unwarranted and that the crisis itself was unprovoked by the actions of one of the senior officers. Was provoked. Skeptical hug. I urge you to investigate the action of Seneschal Wernstein and to intervene in what's happening in lower decks, because very soon we'll have a mutiny of massacre on our hands. There's a mutiny, there's an insurrection to make it aboard my ship, and no one has informed me. We did, in fair, just get on board. Not a problem worthy of your attention. The lower decks that happened are in revolt. 37 years ago, so you had a revolutionary riser rise up who dared to establish workers' rules across the entire ship. It took a month to restore order, but even 8 years later, we were still battling rumors that the hero had survived his execution and was on the verge of gathering people to fight against tyranny once more. Needless to say, the rumors are baseless. The current situation has sufficient enforcers to deal with it. But on this ship, the word of Lord Captain carries more weight than his salvo of 100 bolters. I'm sure that if the rogue trader addresses the malcontents directly, he will quell the unrest. We dare to think what problem you will disturb the rogue trader with next. Perhaps we'll ask him to break up brawls in the mess room. I've already given you means to resolve the problem. You simply need to use them. If I may, sending a squad to crush the rebellion is a means of ignoring the problem, not solving it. How does this all start? Began with the forces found a cultist amulet on the body of someone to be killed in a drunken brawl. I reported up the chain immediately. Open investigation. No heritage has been found alive, but search brought tensions. Okay, so it's... Where's Wernstein come into this? I shall explain. I will not hurry. Since my competence is under scrutiny, I shall speak for as long as I see fit. There is an established order to the way things are done on this ship, and one of the proposed systems is the rogue trader's attention is not distracted by trivial matters. The Seneschal's role to ensure that. I have always handled internal problems myself, so of course I received information about the cultists hanging on the lower decks. I took the matter in hand. So long as I live, not one of the vermin who murdered Theodore von... Oh, so he's getting a little personal about this. Okay. You're far too heavy-handed. Arrest, warned, mass punishment for entire sectors has driven people to the brink. Abelard, what do you have to say about this? Yeah, so basically he's lashing out because he's kind of mad about the death and, you know, kind of going crazy over it. Alright, Abelard, what do you have to say? I see no need to add anything. Actives remit to my authority, guided exclusively by your best interest of your protectorate and your personal safety. I wish to confirm direct to my action itself. I have no objections. What is Depot for? Poor sector, general laborer home. Easily replaceable, okay. Sir Seneschal was acting within his authority, but I will verify the soundness of the decision myself, because I do think he is acting a little bit personal than rather than rational-headed about this. Don't deserve you. I'll thank you for your support. Enterprise bordering on the sophomoric, but please yourself, Lord Captain. However, I categorically insist that I escort you. Yeah, I guess we're all. I guess okay. I guess this is what's happening. I just wanted to get a sixth party member. All right, I'm gonna save right here, and then I'm going to make a quick break because I realized I need to go cook dinner. Yeah, so I guess we're doing this now. Alright, we're back. Had dinner and all that jazz. So, we're back on the lower decks, and we have a revolt to put down, or investigate at the very least. I took off the visual for our helmet because it's a little silly. It's Wernstein, take that scum. Look who's fault, all of his fault. All. Abelard reflexively wipes sweat from his brow to startle a human gesture, and a telling one, a rare moment in which he allows his age and wariness to show through his armor-like veneer of self-assurance. Lower decks are a source of endless problems, some as I dearly regret we cannot replace all of the locals with servitors. The people dared disrespect a senior officer. They would have not had the chance to express such disrespect if we were not here, and if the situation would have been dealt with by the relevant officers. It is a junior officer's worst failing to pass the problem up the chain of command. I have never been able to abide it, and I shall say again, it is a mistake to come here on Lieutenant Ben's whim. I must admit that the lieutenant is by no means the worst material for an officer, he adds peevishly, but in the name of Tara, the girl is the same age as my eldest great-granddaughter. She has the gall to tell me how to manage my lower decks and hunt down cultists. I will be about 20 years at least before she can be trusted to act without oversight. They were shouting your name. Of course they were, an organization of daily routine life with ship rests upon my shoulders. And amounts of challenges and problems which endeavor to insulate you, Lord Captain. The situation of the lower decks has been cause for concern, and I have intervened personally on more than one occasion. That's why they remember me, and they do not know your face. To them, you are akin to a creature of legend, one who has stood atop the golden throne, no less, whereas I'm a man whose name to attach to dock ordering. To order docking rations or lowering of base heating. Well, we'll get to the bottom of this. So, I totally forgot, because it doesn't show his last name anywhere. Where is she in? I thought they were talking about, like, a third person. I didn't know they were talking about Abelard. Wow, Valve, that's a reference. What if we just, like... Yep, huge pipes delivering, yada yada yada.
None shall stand in my way.
Okay, Abelard. Sounds like heated discussion reverberates through the ship's base. Lieutenant Arlo Vent of the ships and forces is barring the path of a heavily built assault officer unit. Gauged by your expression and tone, the scandal has dragged on for some time and are now reaching a boiling point. I have my orders to put an end to unrest and purge the sector. And you can take those orders and shove them. This is my deck and my sector. There are only 3 people who can waltz in here without my express permission: the first officer, the rogue trader, and the Emperor himself. So, not all my lessons fall on deaf ears. He mutters a crabby approval. He's not clarified whether he meant Lieutenant Vent, the officer looming over her, or both. Your lordship. There you notice us. What's the situation? People locked down the bay where the strikers are, including the leaders, so we have the situation under control as far as resources allowed. Yeah, we encountered some locals on our way here. Their conduct was outrageous. They even tried throwing things at us. People are getting desperate, clearly. They saw the assault unit and decided they had nothing left to lose. I mean, I apologize, Lord Captain. It is outrageous, and I'm sure they simply don't recognize you. It would have occurred otherwise. We'll deal with them once the situation is resolved. Alright, let's speak to the strikers. Right you are, Lord Captain. Allow me to wish you luck. Sorry, Abelard, we're already here. We're seeing what's going on. A dozen pair of eyes stare apprehensively at you. The people before you are typical inhabitants of the lower decks, who take in their simple clothing, crude weapons, and faces that display varying levels of mutation, from the barely discernible to the strange to the outright grotesque. Okay, bows. Three people break away from the crowd, elderly woman and 2 men. They must be the leaders. They bow clumsily before you, Lord Captain. You've come down to us. We're attacked on our way here. How do you explain that? Here's an explanation for you. The people have been pushed to their limit and are lashing out, as if we don't know top deck units are being sent down here, like that one lieutenant won't let pass. Our clans are all inside the bay that have been sealed off, but the lower decks are big. I'm sure there's some people who've just about enough. We're getting it from all sides. The soldiers have encircled the ones who've risen up, and a death squad has just arrived. No wonder folks are lashing out. Awareness has succeeded. The word seems sincere to you. Their body language and glances traded between men reveal the news of the attack has shocked them. Okay, why are you striking? Striking? That's news to us. Yeah, we're not striking. All we're doing is asking questions. Shut up, Rivet, snaps the old woman. Here's the deal, your lordship. Your damned forces are all over us down here. They say we're looking for cultists. One wrong word and they're reaching for their batons. They want to punish someone, they look to they turn off the heating to the whole day for an entire week, so we get sick and freeze. In my clan, 2 little ones died from inflammation in their lungs, all because of these enforcers. Yeah, so the reason I'm, like, really the only reason I'm not kind of just letting this entire thing go Abelard's way is because it's very clear to me that he is responding very heavily to the heresy, not because he is inherently more dogmatic, right, as we can know from his game mechanics thing, but because he is very upset about what happened to Lady Theodora, obviously, and is potentially lashing out that way. Right, he sees it potentially as a personal failure that she died on his hands or whatever, stuff like that. Hey Argenta, how's it going? Not interrupt the workers, but you see sadness well in her eyes while the children's deaths are mentioned. She quietly whispers a prayer of requiem and makes a sign of herself. It's all true. Vent is the only enforcer officer who stood up for us. It's clear as day who had a mother from the lower decks and who grew up amidship has no feelings towards us. Your lordship, we're no villains here, we're honest workers, your servants. We've plotted no disorder, we went on a strike openly, and now we've got guns pointed at us. All we're doing is asking to be allowed to work in peace without being harassed. Persecution stands apropos of nothing, you say? I was told that one of you was found in possession of a cultist amulet, and that there are heretics hiding here. Cultist amulet? What's that? The gewgaw they found on Dead Drunkard? If that was something evil forbidden, we sure didn't know. The enforcers just said they were looking for heretics among us, and anyone obstructing their investigation would be punished. But how could there be heretics here? We know our own people, there are no new faces here. Definitely not, and if there were, we'd be the first to report them. And as for this amulet, or whatever it is, they took it off a dead body. There are no cultists still breathing in our sector, that's for sure, but when that fight broke out, some enterprising folks looted the bodies. The boots they came back with, no one's ever tread these boots so fine, I can tell you that. It seems to me these cultists have better commanders than us. Oh yeah, the boots really were fine, and there was no harm in taking them, right? As for the amulet, it must have been pocketed by someone who didn't know any better. We don't know any amulets around here, we all worship the Emperor, and when we're working, we bow down to machine spirits, the large and small transformers, and the servo motor, the same way my grandfather was taught 100 years ago by a tech priest who came calling. Believe us, your lordship, we have people in faith. I confirm the information regarding the proper tending of machine spirits in this sector. Servitors indicate that these commoners are performing the sacraments they are permitted to know. Naive children, weren't you taught in an early age about the dangers of the arch-enemy's creations? Weren't you warned any unfamiliar object could be one of them? Yeah, so this is interesting, right? Because I think they'd also be pretty rallied about being mad about having a huge amount of their people killed by the recent cultist attacks. So I'm not inclined to think that there's a serious cultist thing going on here. We were told, Holy Sister, but it was long ago. Last time we saw a confessor in a sector was just after I had my 3rd little one. As regrettable, but you cannot lay the burden of leading a righteous life on the shoulders of the Holy Fathers. Who will you blame when a beast crawls out of the amulets you stole from the heretics? The Holy Father who is not there, or the scavenger who brought the evil down upon himself and his neighbors? Abelard, do you have anything to say? Authorize the use of all necessary measures to locate Chaos Worshippers hiding in the sector. Specific steps taken to officers were not reported to me. He frowns, clearly disgruntled at having to explain himself in the workers' presence. Nevertheless, I am certain that the actions were justified. Cultists are no drunken servitors, they're an enemy and a threat to the ship. Neutralizing them demands decisive action. So he's very, right, he's obviously our kind of steward character. Yeah, we're kind of breaching protocol here and also kind of lowering our status of godhood here to these people who we theoretically have a very tenuous relationship with as like the slave master type relationship. But I know it's also kind of a video game, so it's fine. That's also the setting of this world where it's more than likely also fine. Alright, what are you asking for? Would you look at that? The exalted Lord Captain himself is asking to build rats what we want. Well, here's that. We want you to rein in your damn enforcers, quit turning off the heat, and stop battering everything that moves. No, that's not it. We want these enforcers gone from here, and we want to be armed. Give us arms, and we'll govern ourselves. Yeah, that's not happening. You've gone too far, old man. They'll never let maggots on the lower decks live without enforcers breathing down our necks. They probably even insist on enforcers on the upper decks, too. We do. As for weapons, what do we need them for? Before the first day's out, we'll have someone shooting the neighbor out of stupidity or drunkenness. We don't need that. If the forces stop hassling us, that'll be enough. In return, we'll find a scavenger who robbed cultist bodies, talk among them, one lower decker to another. If any of those more damn animals about, we'll hand them over to the enforcers ourselves. You speak for yourself and your clan, and I'll speak for me and mine. I don't want empty gestures, I want real change. They promise us the world now, but as soon as the anointed one turns his back, the brutes will be on us even harder than before. Rivet, who is the named character here, dart between the two arguing leaders. Every few seconds he opens his mouth as if planning to agree, but each time he falls silent, simply making vague noises of approval. I'm not going to ask Abelard right now, because I know what he's going to say. Alright, let's try coercion. 80%. Failed. I don't like seeing the clans of Depot 4 at odds with each other, but I agree with the Lord Captain. I won't be demanded disbanding of the enforcers. I'd rather be gunned down by the enforcers than back down now to have us killed any time sooner. Alright, last thoughts. Story about going scavenging for boots and accidentally picking up a heretical amulet does not convince me. These people are moments away from rebelling and possibly becoming minions of the archenemy. We must not give them what they want, even if they did acquire something innocently, purely out of their own stupidity, does not mean they're not tainted. What begins at petty thievery can turn into a far graver problem. I have seen it before. In my second war, there was a sergeant of the Imperial Guard regiment that was stationed nearby. The sergeant took an ordinary pocket knife from the body of a heretic, and his whole unit lost their lives for it. When they finally managed to break into the barracks, they found not a single survivor, only the pocket knife, which had grown through all the rows of beds like metal choking vine. So, when it comes to scavengers, malcontents, strikers, and whatever they turn into next, my verdict's simple. Give them no quarter. That is fair. We're definitely not giving them everything. But with the assurance that they have been, at least up to this point, working well, according to our Adeptus Mechanicus fellow here, I think it's enough to do this option. Definitely not this. And I feel like we're just going to try to do a compromise here. Harassment will end. I will expect the clans who have agreed here to assist in locating cultists. Okay, well, here's the problem. Okay, I'm still going to do this, but I know where it's going to end up. Right, because what's going to happen is we're going to take this, and then we're going to later get something about the old woman's specific clan has now become, like, extra antagonized by this, and is probably going to actually cause the rebellion, a sort of rebellion. But, in that case, at the very least, if I were to actually, in this choice option, I would do this, and then privately on the chamber, and that's up tell Abelard that's to, right, potentially heavily focus on her specific clan, in terms of either, you know, informant type stuff, or actually enforcement. She gets her teeth and spits on the floor again. Sorry, old man, but I'm not putting my whole life and my whole clan's lives on the line because of your stubbornness. You're most eager to assist, we'll get right to it, Lord Captain.
Victory awaits!
Alright, let's see if I'll have the option to plead my case of Abelard. Oh. Why do you have frenzy? I feel like we missed something.
Time.
Machine right sets, okay, that's fine. Like, that door having frenzy makes me, a little bit concerned, honestly.
A new challenge for me?
Okay, come on. You can open the door, stupid Adeptus Mechanicus. Yeah. Like, it's usually when someone has combat buffs or something like that on, usually means that there's a potential combat, so potentially those were our heretics. Alright, I have an urgent matter to discuss the Lord Captain. Please give us a minute. Are you pleased with your investigation, Lord Captain? You kowtowed to the disloyal rabble. You believe their lies and showed them leniency. Next time the ship is attacked by cultists, the rabble will welcome them with open arms and seek to wreak whatever havoc they like because you see you as a weak leader. Is this how you see your future at the helm of the Von Valencia's Protectorate? Let's talk about your role. I'm going to immediately get defensive here. There is some truth, potentially, but, right, you allowed this revolt to happen, your actions practically guaranteed it would, right? There's... Okay. I would have handled the situation myself had you not decided to intervene. Remember Lord Captain Theodora, do you think she ever set one slippered foot on the lower decks? No, she did not. Such matters were left to myself, and junior officials were dedicated herself to her guard designs to protect her. Any true strategist and rogue trader ought. Fair, but I'm thinking our background here with the crime lord, we're going to be a little bit more open to specifically interacting with at least kind of different categories of people. Oh, this would anger him a lot. Alright, hold on, let me read options here. It was literally her spy master that didn't cause the problem, so... I do like Abelard. I really do. I don't want him to be, like, permanently pissed off at me, but I think he needs to be pushed right now, because like I said, I feel like he's dealing with a lot of internal struggle right now. So we're just going to be aggressive and not back down to him. And yeah, we'll just do this. We'll try to cut straight to the batters, although that's a cheap shot, really, because, like, that isn't necessarily, right? Her problems were caused by, effectively, though, letting her actual spy master be corrupted by heresy. This is more putting blame directly on him, but we're gonna go with one. We're gonna be confrontational here. He's stunned, exhales loudly, and nods curtly. I commend your decisiveness, but I'm uncomfortable with introducing new protocols in the midst of a crisis. And that's why I said, maybe if Theodora had spent more time on trifling matters, she would not have wound up dead. There's a new Lord Captain abound the ship, and I will not repeat her mistake. And I lost my temper. Lord Captain, I believe I ought to explain myself. See, this is what I thought. I feel like my gauge of his person is that some people respond very well to being equally aggressive to them, at least in some way, and not either immediately trying to become deferential to them, right, and be like, yeah, I see your criticism, that thing. I think I've had this conversation with people before, where it's very clear this is kind of a tangled knot of emotions here. Prosperity of Von Valencia's Protectorate is not just an empty phrase to me. I left the Imperial Navy for the chance to see it flourish. It was the most monumentous decision of my life. I did because I saw in Captain Theodora's deeds the sign of greatness. Rogue traders do not simply forge new routes and capture worlds, they create order out of anarchy. The creative impulse was entirely lacking during my time in the military. So I left behind everything I had known. Everything my family had known. I had come from a long line of officers, and I embarked upon this incredibly reckless venture. Lord Captain Theodora entrusted me with the concerns she had no time for. She would go off flagship for long periods to distant frontiers on my scouting voyages, and advancement of the entire Protectorate rested on my shoulders. Then suddenly, everything that had been built over years and years began to quake, rattling like a flimsy hanger in a seismically active world. One of the senior officers betrayed us, the rogue trader was killed, and who knows what is happening on the planets. I tell you this honestly, without fear of appearing weak. All of this has come as a grievous blow to me. I am not panicking or grieving because I cannot allow myself to panic or grieve. I am duty-bound to aid the new rogue trader, to aid you, to find your footing as quickly as possible. And to do that, I must insulate you from the problems that have passed and been dealt with by tried and tested procedures set out on the ship's regulations. Procedures that were established long ago and have functioned smoothly for decades cannot suddenly be deemed excess to requirements. I understand his feeling, and I'm glad at this point that he's come out with what I said. Don't exactly feel that, because that's not necessarily inherently the problem here. I don't have necessarily a problem with how he would have handled it. I had a problem with how his motivations behind how he would have handled it in this instance. Okay. So I want to appeal to his, right, because he primarily talked about the like forward nature of things. So I don't want to. So like one is actually decently tempting, right? Building the future of one place in Empire. This one is just reshaping it for no real purpose, just for new decisions. Between 3 and 4 right now. Because 4 seems like a complete backtrack, right? It's like, well, I see no reason to change them. Well, then why did you do this entire thing? So I think 3 is our best option here. Right, because what I want to say, basically, is kind of calling them out on, like, I think the operations and procedures are fine, but this one felt off. So, we'll do 3. The prosperity of Von Valencia's Protectorate is just as important to me. You're the only person who has comprehensive knowledge of how things are run on the ship. I think in the future I will follow your recommendations. He dips his head in a sign of assent. A shadow of incredible strain, which has been wearing on him for some time, finally lifts from his place. I'm glad you see the value in the foundations laid out by your illustrious predecessor. Why fix what isn't broken? As for me, I shall endeavor not to cause you any further consternation, Lord Captain. Now, please let us sleep lower decks. The road trigger's eyes to stretch his legs. There are far more suitable places. Oh, hell yeah. Love it. Alright, let's get out of here. That was good. That was a good bit of character building. Fake loading screens, right? No, like all loading bars, 0 to 90 takes like 5 seconds, and then. Alright, well, let's finish this off with a quick level, because, oh god, this is going to be a quick level, is it? Oh, maybe it will. Well, guess what we're leveling? Intelligence or ballistic skill? That's the real question. Actually, let me just quick check here, Grand Strategist. Build these talents. Okay, we can get everything there, but we don't get one for like 10 levels. How often do we get these? This is... Okay, so we get 3 more of these soon. Because we're using sniper rifles, ballistic skill is really not that important for us right now. Kind of counterintuitively, because the sniper rifle has such high base chance to hit. So we're still going to level int, we're just going to kind of power level it. Okay. We don't need tech use, we've already explained this. Let's go Logic Man. Oh, we can't grab intelligence, never mind. Alright, ballistic skill it is. Could do weapon skill, but I don't feel like we're going to be in melee range like ever. Perception's also good, but not what we're doing. Cool. Look at us, logical men. Alright. You... I don't think it makes sense for there to be... Yeah, you can be Lord Xenos. That's fine. You gain the intelligence level. Alright, now I'm going to be curious if this goes up. It doesn't. Okay. Well, at the very least, he now has an int bonus. Yeah, crazy techies. Alright, Argenta. How's it going? Ooh, a talent. Okay, this one will take actually a little bit longer, probably. It's only one attack, it's kind of the main problem. We're gonna do this one because this one's just going to get better as soon as we get actual decent medium skins. Alright, and ballistic skill it is in this case. Alright, you. There's nothing you're actually good at here, so you can have Medicaid, because I still might take you. And you're going to get willpower, which will bump us up to the next thing, which is good for psycho abilities. Great. And the man himself. Okay, you get a talent. Yeah, 6 max HP extra is okay, but I don't think worth a talent. Whoever our stars here. Living Shield still seems very interesting. I don't want him to be a low at health. Desolation is nice. Did I get, yeah, I did get swift movement, great. Because I remember correctly, charge... Because I'm pretty sure charge is based on your... Oh, we could do more charge distance, which at least also, which effectively increases his regular distance, but let me add a couple things to favorites here. Oh, this allows sworn enemy to actually. I have to look at perks a little more now because now we're actually getting abilities that can have follow-up perks. So this one would be 8 extra health for ending next to the person, which is not bad. Yeah, so you could do a much more like agility-based melee. Right, this one gives an entire extra plus 10 damage. 1-5 or more cells, of course, so you really want ramming speed and impetus. But that's not impossible to beat. But I think we might do... I already have sworn enemy. I don't know what we're going to get next, but I think, honestly, getting the, this one's also interesting. Right, 8 extra health, while not insane, if you combine it with the fact that we'll likely have hit endure as well. That could potentially negate a good chunk of damage. Plus, this doesn't just this could also apply to other guys, right? We just have to be near the enemy, and then, you know, other ranged guys. Or that, or increase the charge for just more movement. Living Shield's nice, but the way it works in this game, they're already shooting your enemy, which is kind of fine enough. Like, this is great, and not that hard to accomplish from what we've seen by the maps, but obviously charge only works once against a big boss guy. So I think we're going to go for this, just because we can pretty much guarantee to proc this all the time. And does it increase the actual wounds you have? Yeah, it does. So you get an extra 10% health for each thing. I kind of want to start leveling strength, but I guess we'll get that later. So let's just do toughness for now, because we have other abilities that just scale toughness. Okay, cool. Leveled. Alright, good stuff. I'll just combine this one and the last clip here, and we'll be all good. Good little Abelard side quest. I'm happy about that.